And one of the things you described, that there was a perfect storm of events that landed us here. And you say that people may be surprised to know that this started in the 80s. You say that parents were overprotective in some ways and underprotective when it came to the viral world. Explain that.
Sure. So human childhood has always been about play. That's true for all mammals. Anyone who's had a puppy or a kitten at home, you know, they want to play all the time. They have to play because that's how mammals wire up their brains. It's part of our program. And from, 300 million BC or whenever mammals start until the 1980s or 1990s, that's what kids did. And, we grew up in a time when there was a crime wave, there was dangers out there, but everyone went out and played by the time you were 7 or 8. But in the 80s and 90s...
Who played out there when you were 7 or 8? Yeah, we all did.
That was just the norm. Everybody did.
Yeah.
And it's a lot safer now, but we're so scared now. We're so scared that if we ever let our child out,
and that period was when, like in the 90s. I remember when kids were on milk cartons.
Exactly. That was the 80s, yes.
Yes.
And then it goes into, that's right, into the 90s.
Into the 90s, where parents were afraid to let their kids do anything. You couldn't let your kids stay in the front yard. You couldn't let your kids play with other, Yeah.
So I'm calling this the backstory here. It's the loss of the play-based childhood. And if you take away play from children, you're going to have problems. They need a lot of independent, unsupervised play so that they can learn how to be self-supervising. That's our goal, is to work ourselves out of a job as parents, that they can be self-supervising.
So let's make this point again to parents, because play isn't just play. Play is learning how to be socialized with other people. It's learning how to...
It's nature's social emotional learning. It is the most effective way to learn how to cooperate, how to manage your emotions, how to make plans, how to adjudicate rules. It's everything.
How to hear no and react to no.
That's right, and you want the game to keep going so you stay in.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. And so that happened with parents overprotecting.
That's right.
And then along comes the smartphones.
That's right.
Where parents were underprotecting.
That's right. So as kids are kind of retreating from the real world and they're spending a lot more time online, the millennials were spending a lot more time on AOL or Messenger, whatever it was in the 90s and the early 2000s, but their mental health didn't get worse. The first wave of the internet didn't mess us up. It was incredibly exciting. And actually, I want all the parents here to remember how you felt when you first encountered the internet, if you remember the 90s. I mean, it was magical. It was like a godlike power. And so as our kids began spending more and more time there, we thought, well, maybe this will be good for them. Like, technology, like this is the way of the future. So we let our kids change childhood. We were complicit in it, but we didn't know any better. We thought this was going to be good. And then everything changes. You get the smartphone in 2007, but it's not so bad at first. It's only then you get the App Store, then you get push notifications, then you get 100 apps on your phone, and every time your child downloads an app, they're giving permission to a company to interrupt them, and they're giving permission to strange people all over the world to contact your child in many of the apps. And so this is when things get really dark. 2010 to 2015, everything changes.